are preparing for their exams.
Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Learn Microbiology. Today we will be discussing about TYBSA Paper 3 Biochemistry, Unit number 1, Lipid Metabolism and Catabolism of Hydrocarbons. I know all my students are preparing for their exams. So I have started with Prepare for Exams, a revision series. This particular series of videos will take you throughout your syllabus and help us to do your revision. Let's get started. Before you is the syllabus of your paper 3, that is your Microbial Biochemistry Part 2. You have to do 4 units. First unit is about lipid metabolism and catabolism of hydrocarbons. Second one is about metabolism of proteins and nucleic acids. Third one, metabolic regulation. And unit number 4, prokaryotic photosynthesis and inorganic metabolism. In this video, we will be starting with unit number 1. Let's have a look at unit number 1. This is your syllabus prescribed by the University of Mumbai. You are having in this unit total 4 subtopics. As you can see here, you are having subtopics like this is 1.1 Introduction to Lipids, 1.2 Catabolism of Fatty Acids and PHB, 1.3 Anabolism of Fatty Acids and Lipids, 1.4 Catabolism of Aliphatic Hydrocarbons. We will be starting with 1.1 Introduction to Lipids. We will be covering 1.1.1 and 1.1.2 in this particular video. Stay tuned. Let's get started with the first topic, lipids definition, classification and functions. What are lipids? This is the definition of lipids. Lipids are structurally heterogeneous group of substances that are highly soluble in non-polar solvents like methanol and chloroform and relatively insoluble in water. What this means? What is the meaning of first word heterogeneous? Heterogeneous means it is made of more than one type of molecules. And one of the most important property of lipids is that it is soluble only in non-polar solvents, organic solvents like methanol, chloroform, but it is insoluble in water. Now, where are these lipids found? Lipids are found in prokaryotes in the cell membranes. Now, how these lipids are formed and what are they made of? The major membrane lipids in bacteria and eukaryotes are phospholipids. Now, these phospholipids consist of fatty acids, esterified to glycerol phosphate derivatives. These are called as phosphoglycerides. First of all, let us understand what this means. Lipids are majorly made of 2 important components, that is fatty acids and glycerol. Glycerol is the backbone on which fatty acids are built upon. Now, what are first of all fatty acids? Fatty acids are long chain hydrocarbons. When we say hydrocarbons, you might have remembered that hydrocarbon means those compounds which consist of only carbon and hydrogen. So we have in fatty acids, we will be having a long chain of carbon and hydrogen, that is like CH3, CH2, CH2, CH2 and so on. One of the most important point here is that at the end of this long chain hydrocarbon, you will be having the functional group COOH. Have you encountered this somewhere? Yes, it is your carboxylic acid group. So look here, this is actually one example of a fatty acid which is consisting of a long chain of hydrocarbons and carboxyl group at its one end. This particular hydrocarbon group varies with fatty acids and they are represented as R. Fatty acids can be of two types, saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids will only have single bonds on this long chain hydrocarbons, while unsaturated fatty acids also will have one or more double bonds as shown below. You can see here at this particular two carbon there is a double bond. So this particular fatty acid is unsaturated. So we have understood about fatty acids. Let's learn about glycerol. Glycerol is a 3-carbon compound with 3 OH groups. This is the structure of glycerol. It is going to have this carbon number 1, 2 and 3. Along with it, it is having 3 OH groups, that is 3 hydroxyl groups, and there are hydrogens to balance it. So if somebody asks you what is the structure of glycerol, just remember 3C and 3OH. So it is going to be CH2OH, CHOH and CH2OH. Now, how this glycerol and fatty acids come together to form a lipid? In the previous slide, we read that fatty acids are esterified to glycerol. This means that we are going to form an ester bond between the fatty acid and the glycerol to give us the lipid. So let's see how it happens. Now we have 3OH. All this 3OH is going to react with the carboxyl group of our fatty acid. As see here, this is our fatty acid number 1. So it is having a side chain R1, which is its long chain hydrocarbon along with COOH. This is our fatty acid number 2 and this will be our fatty acid number 3. Now, whenever you have to remember one thing in biochemistry, whenever we are joining bonds, most of the time it is condensation reaction. Now what is condensation? A reaction in which hydrogen and OH, that is hydroxyl, combine to form water, and this water is removed, because of which there is a formation of a bond. So whenever we have to join two compounds, we have to form a bond between them such that water molecule is removed. The same thing is going to happen here as well. Just have a look. As we can see, the OH of your fatty acid, of the glycerol, is going to react with the hydrogen of your fatty acid number 1. Similarly, the same thing going to happen with the OH of the carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. What is going to happen when this H and OH react together? Yes, you guessed it right. We are going to form water molecule. As we can see here, this HOH combines to form water and this water will be removed, because of which our compound called glycerol and our fatty acids are going to combine together like this, and this is nothing but our simple lipid, and it is, can you see the bonds? These bonds are called as ester bonds. Bond which is formed between OH and H of these two molecules results in the formation of a ester bond between the carbon of your glycerol and between the carbon of your fatty acid. And this molecule is called as your triacyl glycerol. It is also called as triglycerides. Tri means there are 3. Acyl. Acyl means fatty acyl or fatty acid group. So, and along with it, it is going to have glycerol. So, it is called as triacyl glycerol. It can also be termed as triglycerides. Wait a minute. We were here to study about phospholipids and phosphoglyceride, isn't it? But where are they? Just have a look. Now, this is our simple lipid called as triglyceride. Now, if we replace the fatty acid of the carbon third with a phosphate, we are going to get nothing but our phosphoglyceride. It is also called as phospholipid. So, if we have a fatty acid group at the third carbon, it is called as triglyceride. If it is going to have a phosphate, it is called as the phosphoglyceride. So, this is going to be the basic information which we need to do about lipids. Shall we move ahead? If you have not understood this, just rewind the video, pause it and have a look and resume the video once you understand it. Next, we will be discussing about the classification and function of these lipids as they are in this flow chart. Isn't it very big? But don't worry, it's very simple to understand. Just have a look. Classification of lipids. Lipids are classified broadly into two types. First is a lipids containing esterified fatty acid, that is the one which we just studied, right? And it is also classified into lipids containing isoprene units. These lipids are derivatives of our lipids. Okay. So first what we will do is we will focus on the lipids containing esterified fatty acids. We will study their classification and then we will move ahead for the rest. So here in the screen we can see these are the classification of lipids containing esterified fatty acids. Okay. It is classified into two types. One is your simple lipid, other one is your complex lipid. The example of simple lipid is polybeta hydroxybutyrate. Poly means polymer. Polymer of what? Beta hydroxybutyrate. So this is going to be the polymer of a compound called as beta hydroxybutyrate. You take beta hydroxybutyrate and arrange them one by one, form a bond between them, you will get your polybeta hydroxybutyrate, that is called as PHB. We will be studying about PHB in much detail in the coming videos. Shall we move ahead to the next group? The next group of lipid is the complex lipids. Now this complex lipids, there are again two types. One is the lipid which is esterified to glycerol. Lipids which are esterified to glycerol, the one which we just studied, there are three types. One is your neutral fats, second is your phospholipids and third is your glycolipids. Now what are neutral fats? Remember triacylglycerides? Yes, that triacylglycerol is nothing but our neutral fat. The neutral fat, if it is going to have a phosphate group, it will be called as phospholipid. And if it contain any sugar molecule instead of a phosphate, it will be called as a glycolipid. Moving ahead, the other type of complex lipids are the one esterified to amino sugars. So instead of a glycerol backbone, this particular lipids are going to contain amino sugar backbone, and a good example of it is a lipid A. After understanding this, it's very important to learn the function of these lipids. So let's learn the function of these lipids both in a prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes. So if you see here, in prokaryotes, polybeta hydroxybutyrate play an important role as a reserve material, that is storage of extra food, while PHB is absent in eukaryotes. Moving ahead to neutral fats. Neutral fats, example triacylglycerol. Yes, it is absent in prokaryote, but it is the reserve material in eukaryotes. So there is two important things to understand from here. Prokaryotes reserve material is polybeta hydroxybutyrate, and the reserve material of eukaryotes is neutral fats. Well done. Let's move ahead. Let's move to phospholipids. Phospholipids in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes It is going to be the membrane constituent. Okay, it is the one which is going to be present in the membrane. Next, glycolipid is again going to be in the membrane, but in prokaryotes, glycolipids are found in the membrane of cyanobacteria and green bacteria. Both are photosynthetic bacteria. While, do you remember the organelle responsible for photosynthesis in eukaryotes? You guessed it right, it's chloroplast. So you can find glycolipids in the membrane of the chloroplast. Shall we move ahead to the next, that is lipid A. Lipid A is going to be the component of lipopolysaccharide wall layer. Remember LPS in gram-negative cell wall? Yes, that is exactly the lipopolysaccharide, and you can find your lipid A over there, while lipid A is not present in eukaryotes. So we have understood this right now. Shall we move ahead to the next group? So we have done with the first group, that is the lipids containing esterified fatty acids. The second group is the one lipids containing isoprene units. Here we have two types. One is polyisoprenoids and the second one is called as isoprenoids. Now isoprene is a group of compound having 5 carbon atoms. Those lipids which has more than one monomer of this isoprene, they are classified under polyisoprenoids, while those having only one isoprene group, they are classified under isoprenoids. Let's see the examples. The examples of polyisoprenoids are carotenoids, sterols and bactoprenol. Shall we move to the functions? Carotenoids play a very important role in photoprotection. Remember, whenever you come across carotenoids in prokaryotes, you have to remember photoprotection, that is protecting the cell from oxidative damage. And the another function is light harvesting, that is in photosynthesis. Even in eukaryotes, carotenoids play an important role in light harvesting as a light harvesting pigment. Coming back to sterols. Now, sterols are usually absent in most of the prokaryotes, while it is an important membrane constituent of eukaryote. Bactoprenol. Do you remember bactoprenol? We heard and studied about bactoprenol in your last semester when we were doing your cell wall synthesis, that is the synthesis of peptidoglycan layer. Yes. So this bactoprenol is a component on which the cell wall component, remember Namanaga of peptidoglycan? Yes. Those for synthesis purposes, bactoprenol is required. It is a carrier, right? But it is absent in eukaryotes because eukaryotes don't have a peptidoglycan. Fair enough? Moving ahead, let's move ahead to the group having isoprenoids, that is, these are going to have only one isoprene units. The examples are chlorophyll and quinones. Now, chlorophyll is an important photosynthetic component in both eukaryotes as well as in prokaryotes. You can find chlorophyll in all the organisms which can undergo photosynthesis. Coming to quinones. Heard about quinones? Yes. Do you remember we had encountered this quinones, ubiquinones? Yes, you guessed it right, in electron transport chain. So similarly here, quinones play an important role in the electron transport chain both in prokaryotes and in eukaryotes. So as you can see here, we have finished with the entire classification. This is from your Steiner reference book. So these are the reference books on basis of which we will be studying or revising our unit 1. Today we have taken all our topics from Steiner and White books. If you want these books or if you want your reference notes, you can write it on the comment section. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, you can share this video along with your friends as well, studying in TYBSc Microbiology and preparing for their exams. And please do subscribe to my channel so that you can be informed about the upcoming videos. Thank you.